Okay, so for the past 5, 6, 7 minutes, I've had you work on this, okay? Right here, this inequality. If the line is shaded this way, we know that x is greater than or equal to -6. If from here, the line is shaded this way, this means x is less than 3. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sophia, with letter B, how do we write this inequality?
I did x is greater than without the line and then the negative sign.
Okay, and this one?
I did x is less than or equal to.
Good. Okay. For letter C, A and F, what did you write? Okay.
And then x is less than or equal to 5.
Good.
So basically it's putting the variable on each side. So like doing it from like -4 like point and then
Yeah. Yep. And then this D right here, Elliot. Greater than?
Less than 1.
Okay. And this one? Oh. Okay, X, which way does the alligator go this way? But we're below 6, right? So I'm gonna write this in quad. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So raise your hand if you can tell me if these are and or statements. And thank you, Amelia, for raising your hand. Okay, so if we think about, I'm going to zoom in right here. X is greater than 3 and X is less than 6. I only graphed where the overlap is. So where do they both happen? Green and red happen right here. So our and, we're graphing the overlap of our two inequalities. Okay. Now over here on the second page, okay, our inequalities were going the other way. Okay. So Preston, help me out. How do you describe this inequality right here? And right over here. Okay, good. Letter B, Reagan, how would you describe these two?
x is less than -5.
Okay.
And x is greater than or equal to 4.
Great. Okay. Carter, letter C.
X is less than or equal to -4.
Okay.
And x is greater than or equal to 5.
All right. And then for letter D, you should have X is less than or equal to -3 and X is, oh, JK. X is greater than 6. Okay. All right. Well, if the page before we used and, Sophia, what are we using here? Okay. Why or? Okay. Does anybody have a better reason than the last one wasn't or? Amelia? Okay, we are graphing both of them. So first of all, are these two going to overlap? No, they're not going to overlap. And I have both of them graphed. So or means we can one, or we could have the other. Okay, so both of them get represented separately. Okay, your answer was better. Okay. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and turn to this page right here. Today and tomorrow, our focus is going to be compound inequalities.
Is it a coincidence that this second one is 3, 4, 5, 6, and on both sides?
Oh, what a wonderful coincidence. Did anybody else notice that? 3, 4, 5, 6.
They're actually just all the same.
They are all the same, aren't they? All right. I tricked you. Not tricked you. All right. So here we go. A compound inequality is an inequality. Write this down. Joining two inequalities with the word and or the word or. Okay. A compound inequality. We are joining two inequalities together with and in between or with or in between. Write this down. Somebody's phone needs to be turned onto silent. Official term, snappity chat. Okay, so if x is greater than -8, we can write x is greater than -8. And x is less than or equal to 4. Now, here's the cool thing about our and statements, okay? This is basically saying x is bigger than -8 and less than or equal to 4. So what we can do, let me put it on a number line first. So here's -8 and here's 4. So if I say x is bigger than -8, and if I say less than or equal to 4, where do those two overlap? In between the two, right?
-2.
So any of the ones in between. So we can write this as x is less than or equal to 4 and greater than -8. We can write it like this right here. We can just sandwich it in one thing. Write this down somewhere. Yeah.
So does the lesson symbol have to go behind?
Say that again.
Does it have to go behind the X?
Yeah. So look, because this is x is greater than -8 and less than or equal to 4. You see how that works? X is greater than -8. So I wrote x is bigger than -8. Okay. When there's an and statement, we can squish it together to be one chunk. Because X is in between, like this looks like, X is in between -8 and 4. Okay, now let's look at this one. Can't draw it square. There we go. A number y is at most 0 or at least okay, if y is at most 0, raise your hand if you can tell me how I'm gonna write that. Go. Good. Or at least 2. So hold on, can we go to at most? At most, does that mean 0 is the biggest or the smallest it can be? It's the biggest it can be. So y is going to be 0 or less, right? So y is going to be less than or equal to 0. Okay, so then Colin, at least 2 means y is going to be greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so on our number line, at 0 and at 2, we're going to have closed dots, but they're going in opposite directions. I cannot squish my or statement together like we could our and statement. Okay. Because they're going in opposite directions. Okay, so this is what I need you to understand. Holden and Aiden, this is getting a little out of control. I need you to, you two have been talking to each other this whole class period, off and on. When you see this right here, I need you to understand that that is an and statement. Okay, so we're going to practice actually solving for these. Okay, so I want you to write this example down. We have -4, x minus 2, and 3. There we go. What kind of statement do we have? We have an and statement. Okay, so this is what I would suggest doing because we're going to need to solve this. Okay, this means -4 is less than x minus 2 and x minus 2 is less than 3. Let's go ahead and separate it out so we can solve. Let's focus on this inequality right here. Okay. If I need to get x by itself, what am I going to do to both sides of my inequality? 2. So I have -2 is less than x, right? What?
I don't know, I put 8 instead of x.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Okay. Over here, if we want to solve this inequality, what do we need to do to both sides? Add 2. So x is greater than -2 and x is less than 5. We can go ahead and now squish those back together for inequality. So if you want to add the same thing to all three sides, sure, you go for it. Okay, but since we've worked with inequalities with just like one inequality sign, some of us are going to need to break it up just to see what to do. Okay. Okay, let's do another and one. Okay. Now, Sophia, this might be a case where I would probably not want to keep them together. And you'll see why here in a moment. Okay. So we know that if we have three inequalities squished together like this, then it is a compound inequality. That is an and statement. Okay. So let's break this up into our two inequalities. -3 is less than -2x plus 1, and -2x plus 1 is less than or equal to 9. Anna, what's the first thing that we need to do if we're going to solve this guy right here? Okay, let's subtract 1. Okay, Ines, talk me through what to do next.
And then you do that to the other side.
Okay.
You drop that and flip the symbol.
Oh, thank you for remembering that.
Then it would be 2.
Good. Okay. And we need to basically go through that same process with this guy right here. Right? We need to subtract 1 from both sides and then divide by that -2. And when we divide by that -2, the sign flips. Thank you, Abby. Okay. Now notice how I have 2 is greater than x and x is greater than or equal to -4. Well, if I'm going to write that with my x squished in the middle, then I want x to be bigger than equal to -4 and less than 2. I want it to look like this. So since my signs flipped, I'm going to rewrite it so that so when we read it left to right, they go in order. Do you understand what I'm saying there? So I wanted like, since x is squished, it's an and statement. X is squished in the middle. I put my smaller number on the left and my bigger number on the right.
And then put your variable in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but notice, like, I'm not just gonna like willy-nilly like scrunch it between two numbers. It does say x is less than 2. That matches. Okay, it does say x is greater than or equal to -4. That matches. All right. I'm not changing any of the inequalities. I'm just writing it up there so it looks pretty. Okay. All right, let's talk about an or. What's nice about or is it's always going to say or, and it's going to stay or. That sounds weird when I say it like that. What? You don't have enough room?
No. You can like do it and stuff.
We don't use notebooks.
So this is what I would do. If you're running out of room, you can go to page 51 and kind of write it in that right margin, right? Oh, jeez.
There's like this thing, they're like this.
I guess. first one right here. Let's start with this one. Colin, what do I do first?
Put 5.
So 3y is less than -3. I have a question, Seth. When I divide by 3, do I need to flip the sign?
No.
Okay, I am not dividing by a negative. I'm dividing by a +3. Or over here. This guy right here. We're going to add 1 to both sides. Amy, what do we do next? Divide by 2. Now, I do want to talk about the difference in the graphs with our and or statements. Okay, so let's go back to this first purple example. What statement is it? And or?
Or.
It's an and.
Oh, yeah.
Our first purple example. Okay, so in red, x is greater than -2. X is less than or equal to, no, just less than 5. If I'm talking about and, I want one and another. Both of them have to be happening. Where do both of these happen at? In the middle, okay? So this is what our graph looks like. Let's go back to our second example. Sophia, I'm going to give you a chance of redemption. Is this and or? This one, the second example that we did. Yep, I mean, it's like written right there. Oh, okay. Gonna wander around and talk to other people during my class? It's kind of rude. Oh, like he's the only one at fault here. Oh, that was Holden. Holden.
Oh, I didn't say.
Okay. So x is greater than or equal to -4. Means we have this. X is less than 2. Means we have this. Well, what do we care about with an and statement?
That is technically right now it's closed, half closed.
Okay, but do we care about pink, blue, both, none, where they overlap all together? What do we care about? Both, where they overlap. So I have overlap in between. So we're gonna have an open circle and we're gonna have colored in between. Okay. Now, what do you mean what?
Okay.
You're good with that now?
I thought we're still on the green one.
Now we're back to the green one. What's nice about or is we want both of them to happen. Okay, so here I have -1. Here I have 3. Why is less than -1 or greater than 3. We don't care about the overlap. We care about where collectively, where do we have them happening? Okay, and we're overlapping or we want them all. Okay. You have a book homework assignment. The book page is already in Google Classroom. Your answers are already in Google Classroom for you to check. Okay? Can't wait to see your homework tomorrow. Oh, wait. Oh, well.